I want to know about this. This game is racist and transphobic. Oh, is it because of generalization? All right, let's see this.
Welcome. We've got a very funny start to the week here. You know that game Schedule 1? You may have heard of it. Very successful indie game that launched a few weeks ago where you get to play as a drug dealer. And,
oh my god, look at the amount of people in game.
The game. Well, it's coming under fire from the activists, the modern audience activist sort of people. So that's always hilarious. We're going to take a look at a gaming journalist article on The Gamer, why they're mad at this game, and also a post over on Reddit. And really quick update on the VTuber thing I mentioned a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago at this point. Probably not a month, maybe like 3 weeks. But I mentioned I have this VTuber model that I've had for like a few years now, which I think some of you already know about, of course. But most people probably don't because I never really use it. Never get a chance to stream. It just doesn't fit into my schedule. And I want to start using it for certain videos here and there. I think that would be fun and help to add more content to the channel. And so we're going to start with this one actually and see how it goes. Quality assurance and all that great stuff. And the outlet The Gamer, which we're going to hop over to in just a second. You remember this outlet, right? Always appealing to the modern audience types. They were like constantly...
Okay, is he going to be on the right or the left, guys? Which side do I go on? Do I go on the left because he's going to show up on the right? Or do I go on the right because he can show up on the left? What do you guys think? Left, go left. Go left, right, go left. Go left, go left. All right, go left. All right, we'll go left. We'll see if we won the 50-50 here.
Propping up Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example. Even writing an article titled, "How much of the internet's vitriol against Dragon Age the Veilguard feels manufactured?" Oh yeah, because people genuinely disliking this game. That can't be a thing, right? Like, it's got to be manufactured. It's got to be fake. Get out of here. Yeah, that's The Gamer. So, VTuber jump scare in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Okay, wow. Definitely crazy. What a change of pace, huh?
I'm not gonna lie, that is exactly what I imagined. Like, if you had told me, like, what is Hero Hei gonna look like as an anime dude, that is literally exactly what I would have thought. It's like, nailed it perfectly. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly how I saw him.
So their outlet from, their article, yeah, it's off to a great start. 6 hours ago, this article from 6 hours ago on The Gamer, it's incredibly racist. Schedule 1 comes under fire.
Yo, Hero Hei, if you need help with, like, syncing stuff, reach out. I got you, fam. I'll help you. I'll help you set it up.
For one of its achievements. I love how they picked this image to go at the very top. Like, yeah, you gotta show the cop body searching the character as they call it racist, huh? Social media calls for renaming or removing the Indian dealer achievement in Schedule 1. Social media, they mean like all of 5 people, right? Due to racist connotations, the achievement is the only one in the game specifying a
the syncing with the mouth
race, rooted in a history of harmful stereotypes against indigenous people. An indigenous streaming group demands for the removal or renaming of the achievement to promote respect and inclusivity in games. Here we go. A little before it reaches its 1 month anniversary, calls online have begun.
They all yearn to be anime. All weebs, they yearn to be anime. It's true.
For Schedule 1 to change the name of its achievements due to racist connotations. The achievement was first noted by Twitter user Crow, we're going to take a look at that in a second, who tagged the game's creator and said, "I'm loving the game, but can you remove this achievement? It's incredibly racist. The only achievement specifying a race." Oh my gosh.
Who cares?
Yeah, here's the tweet. You can see the Crow show. We already read the tweet on the article, but here's the tweet itself. Let's take a look at the comments. We've got Shanna Lay saying, here's the tweet itself. Let's take a look at the comments. We've got Shanna Lay saying, "Thank you for bringing attention to this. This is not someone who works on the game or anything, I don't think. This is a voice actor." Yeah, that's English voice actor, huh? That's not surprising at all. Pixel Kitten. Oof. What else we got here? Why are people this easily offended on behalf of someone else as well, playing games about selling drugs and shooting people? I totally missed this, by the way. Look at this one. Crow responded to the person who said oof. It's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure what decade we're in, but I was shocked when I saw that. Oh, I was shocked, guys. I was like traumatized." Like, bro, get over yourself. I burst out laughing when I saw this achievement. What insufferable.
The problem is people need to stop taking themselves so seriously. That's the problem with, like, that's basically the problem of the world nowadays, is people take themselves too seriously. People need to knock it off, I think.
Take. This other person also tags Tyler in Schedule 1 game, saying, "Also loving the game. Please don't cater to these fragile dorks that fall over themselves to virtue signal something that has zero impact on their lives." But of course, over at The Gamer, these journalists...
Yeah, like that one person was like, that person was like you're saying a lot of mean things about my mom, and I was just laughing at it. Basically, I made a joke out of it.
They definitely think this is a very serious issue.
It's fine, whatever.
Continuing with their article, they say, Crow's tweet was then followed up by IndigiHorror Squad on social media.
I don't have anything to prove, so it's like whatever, you know. Like,
it's a lengthy statement. We love Schedule 1 and how creative it is, but we need to address something. One of the achievements in the game, Indian Dealer, is based on the harmful phrase Indian Giver. This term is rooted in a long history of racism and stereotypes against indigenous people. Even if the intent wasn't malicious, the impact still matters. Words like these reinforce false narratives and cause harm, especially...
No, what I'm talking about, Ragnar, what I'm talking about is the people upset about the Indian dealer thing. They need to stop taking themselves so seriously. That's what I'm saying.
When normalized in games we love. This is the only achievement in Schedule 1 tied to racist language. We're asking the developers to please consider removing or renaming this achievement. And yeah, once again, we can see this tweet from IndigiHorror Squad. Indigenous gamers, horror lovers, Twitch streamers, content creators reads the bio. Let's take a look at some of the responses here at the top, reading, look at the views to likes on these tweets. They respond saying, your point? All I see is that more people should care about what we are saying. Indigenous issues are often less engaged with. People would rather romanticize our culture and ignore the negatives that do affect us. How is Schedule 1 romanticizing anything? Like,
wait, what the
frick? It's like an extremely not serious game. And then we got the comment below it reading, some of the people commenting here are clearly not well. All that's being asked is the potentially unaware dev.
In fact, isn't the game basically a parody of like a certain region, basically? Like the whole thing? I think drug dealer is indigenous. I know,
the
right?
devs who intentionally added this are...
It's kind of weird because it's like they do these things and it's like...
somehow unaware. Oh my gosh, look at some of these other comments.
Midwestern, there we go. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Excuse me. This is so unfortunate to learn about because I've really been loving the game. I hope this has changed quickly. Replying for the algorithm, as much sharing as possible. Would love to see this corrected. Shared, commented, linked. Get the word out there, y'all.
Hold up, guys. So, dealing drugs, getting people addicted to drugs, and shooting cops. Okay. Make a joke about natives. Very bad.
This post, like, comment, save, share. Take and look at some of the quote tweets we've got. This is extremely disappointing. I hope the developers learn something from this moment and change the name of this achievement.
I could see the drug problem in the Midwest along with several MA reservations. I could see the association. Yeah, but you could say the same thing too, right? About like, again, like just the Midwest in general, right? And like kind of the areas that in which it's based on like an area where there is like a drug problem, right? Like it's kind of based on what's the word? I don't Saber had like a good term for, I'm not from there. It's like some kind of like, yeah, like Midwest, what do they call it? As a Midwestern, I can verify it's true. Yeah, it's like kind of based on that area.
Can see the replies to us just bringing this up and see the types who are supporting leaving messaging like this in a game. Brings out the worst of the anonymous racist cowards who think being 47, anonymous, and edgy is cool. The quote tweets go on and on. I think I need to take back what I said earlier, actually. There's definitely more than 5 upset people. There might actually be dozens of them. Finally, back at the Gamer, they say, the creator of Schedule 1 has yet to speak on the Steam achievement, but we at the Gamer have reached out for comment. Yes, this is the very serious...
I would have told them to go pound sand.
...of activism in the current year. But I also mentioned that there are also upset people over on Reddit. That takes us to this post from 3 days ago on Our Hat Films saying, little heads up about Schedule 1. Just saw a post from Mousy about there being some racist/transphobic jokes in the game. Some seem to be achievement names and pretty small references. I'm not sure how far in advance the sessions have been recorded, but thought it might be worth mentioning in case that's something.
You know what the problem is these people, they need something to fight against. They need some kind of conflict to fight against. So they find like things that don't really matter, nobody cares about, and then they do that to like become rebels with causes.
Want to edit out. So yeah, I'm not familiar with these YouTubers at all, Hat Films, and I went to look for that post that they allegedly made, but I couldn't find it. Maybe they deleted it or something, or I just couldn't find it. I checked on like Twitter, YouTube community post, and also Blue Sky. And then we've got some responses here. Let's see. I mean, one of the very first customers you can get is named Peter File. Lowbrow humor seems to be almost the whole game's premise. The OP saying, lowbrow is one thing, and I don't have an issue with it at all. It's just when it drifts into harmful tropes that it feels a bit off. We live in the most progressive era of all time. It's about time people started to realize that intent and context is all that matters. Hat films are not transphobic, so no jokes they share have ill intent. And the OP responds,
Wait, what's a hat film?
My post absolutely wasn't meant as a dig at the boys. One of the things that I really appreciate about them is how inclusive they are. It was merely meant to make them aware of stuff in the game that they might not be aware of that could put out the wrong kind of vibe. I know if I was putting stuff out there that I didn't realize included some iffy stuff, I'd want someone to let me know. We'll take a look at 2 more comments here. This one reading,
Oh, I see.
is that for the achievement Indian dealer? Sell something to a customer, then pickpocket it back? Isn't that referencing Indian giving? Wikipedia says, it is based on cultural misunderstandings that took place between the early European colonists and the indigenous people with whom they traded. Personally, I have heard the term Indian giver, but never realized it has pejorative connotations. The OP saying, that was one of the examples I saw in that thread, yeah. Okay, so it's a Reddit thread. Maybe I can find that then. We'll take a look after this if I can find it. And this response saying, who cares? It's all in jest. But the OP
Yeah,
said,
basically.
the people being joked about in demeaning ways might care. While intent does matter, excusing stuff is just in jest. Can lead to
There's going to be some people that are offended by it, and then there's going to be some people that are of that racial makeup that don't care either. It's just a joke.
nasty ideas being normalized.
Jokes are going to offend people. That's how it is. If you stop telling jokes every time someone got offended by it, then there would be no jokes
in the long run. And then we've got this exchange, which also explains why they're accusing it of being transphobic. Reads, I noticed while watching YouTube shorts that there was an effect on one of the strains of bud, that said, generizing. And of course it changed the smoker's gender. Because apparently, of course, Caitlyn Jenner is the first thing people think of when they think of anything trans.
Yeah, so the reason behind that is that Caitlyn Jenner was like the first like kind of big celebrity trans person that came onto the scene. And that's why South Park had Caitlyn Jenner in there. And then there was like a bunch of jokes about Caitlyn Jenner in South Park because Caitlyn Jenner was culturally relevant. Caitlyn Jenner was already like pretty famous because of what was that show? I don't watch TV. There was a show that like everyone watched. Buckle up, buckaroo. Yeah, there was a show that like everybody watched and like they were like pretty famous. Yeah, Kardashians. Yeah. So they were already like kind of famous because of that. So like the whole thing of them being trans was a huge deal in like the Hollywood like circles and stuff. And they even had didn't they have Caitlyn Jenner on Time magazine? I'm pretty sure they did something like that, and it was a big deal. So culturally relevant person. So they went with generalizing because it's something that everybody can understand.
It left a bad taste in my mouth after that, and I won't be looking to engage with this other than watching some YouTubers play it. The OP saying, yeah, that was one of the ones that I saw referenced. Maybe I'm just particularly vigilant about it because of how scary things are for the trans community at the moment, but I still think it's something worth highlighting so it doesn't get too normal.
The trans community is honestly its own worst enemy, to be honest. And you can disagree with me on that if you want, but I'm just right. I'm right.
Normalized. This response saying, or it's poking fun at Jenner because of the fact they transitioned.
About every community is its own worst enemy. Not every community, but yes. I mean, there's a lot of communities that are their own worst enemies. True. But I do think that the trans community, not individual trans people. Obviously, there's individual trans people who have their own thoughts on things. In fact, Caitlyn Jenner is one of them. Caitlyn Jenner is like kind of more on the conservative side of trans stuff. Anyway. What I'm saying is like the community, as in the people who have cultural control of the trans community, they have done more damage to trans rights than literally anyone could have possibly hoped to create out of all of the other groups. Basically, the other groups that hate trans people didn't have to do anything because they basically did it a lot to themselves. And I think that's a bad thing. I really do. I feel really bad about it. But what can you do?
Then turned on others who transitioned. And lastly, this exchange, where this comment says, I mean, is it more...
There was a lot of goodwill from the center. So the center of, there's always going to be people that like don't like trans people, and there's always going to be people that are like trans zealots. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit on both sides, but the center is really the important thing because that's the bulk of like where you have to sway. You have to sway point of views, and the trans community, again, they're not a monolith, but the the people with the cultural power, they did so much damage to the perception of trans people to the average person by being like super radical that the average person was like, okay, like no more of this, fuck this, like get this shit out of here. And that became like more popular. And then that's kind of what caused the whole thing to slide backwards. And it's probably going to slide for quite some time before the brakes get hit on it, because a lot of them are just doubling down.
Inclusive to also mock everyone. It's more of a celebrity reference than an outright transphobic one, though I suppose it is highlighting the gender change specifically, though it's not a negative. Caitlyn Jenner is simply the most well-known transgender person, the same way Tropic Thunder is so obviously the choice for a skin color change. But the OP says, mocking/joking about everyone equally only really works if everyone's on equal footing to begin with, really, which sadly isn't the case right now.
I don't believe in that.
James, a caster bit, illustrates it pretty nicely. Oh, but look, there's actually one more response.
I don't believe people are immune from having humor applied to them. In fact, I think that's kind of fucked up. I think it's fucked up to the people who have those problems by saying that their troubles cannot be made light of with humor, because humor is how you heal those kind of things. I mean, that's how I deal with a lot of like the negative things in my life, is I make fun of them and I just have a good time just joking about them. And it's funny when people joke about it, like in general, like comedians. So it's a disservice to people actually that are going through like hard times and like they can't even like have any comedy about like their situation. So I think yeah.
This one got -7 downvotes and reads, lol, seriously? So ultimately I couldn't find the thread that was being referenced here. Took a look for it, couldn't find.
Wasn't that Ben Shapiro making a movie about the women's sports thing? They did. That movie was kind of mid, to be honest. It wasn't really that funny. It was okay. I watched it with people. It was okay. I give that movie like a 4 out of 10. Wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. Wasn't the best movie I've ever seen. It was just okay.
Don't know what that's all about, but I suppose the OP explained everything in this thread anyways. We'll close by going back to the gamer. Once again, their article, It's Incredibly Racist, Schedule 1 comes under fire for one of its achievements. Let me know what you think about their article. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this segment. Hope you enjoyed the VTuber model and all that. And if you
I like it, Hero Hei.
Liking and or subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you.
What do you guys think? I like it. I like the model. Like it really looks exactly how I would have pictured them. So I think it fits really well. I think he needs a little bit of tuning with it, like some technical tuning, because setting up like cameras and all that is like not really like as easy as plug and play. You kind of have to like tune it, and then you also have to learn how to move with it. It's like puppetry. So yeah.